Welcome to On a String Podcast live from Madison Square Garden. We are here celebrating with every Knicks fan you could ever imagine in New York. Our life has been in danger about 15 times. Nah, I can't commit to the bit, man. We did not go all the way to New York. We were too scared. But shout out New York, man, making the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. Uh, Honestly, I think it got to a moment where Knicks fans never thought this would ever happen again.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad though because Stephen A. Smith is now happy, but good for Knicks fans.
It's always a
Good for the
rough
city.
night when you know that you're celebrating at the same time as Stephen A. That's always a rough night.
It's never a good night, but glad for the Knicks, man. They deserve it. It's been so long. They were posting like somebody posted like things that have happened since like the last time the Knicks were in the finals, and it was like, God, dog, like LeBron was in middle school basically.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was
dang.
like a month and a half old when they were in the finals last time.
I really wanted the Knicks to win the finals the last time because I think I was like 10 or
Yeah.
9 or something. Like I was young. But, like I think I wanted the Knicks to win. Because I really like Latrell Sprewell for the weirdest reason.
Okay.
Like I was a big like for whatever reason that year I was all in on Latrell Sprewell. Like I don't know why.
I mean, it was
Like
a good year to be all in on him.
yeah, I mean, and
The
Allen
best
Houston, like
year.
no one is like a diehard Allen Houston fan.
He's
But
awesome.
that year I was like, I fuck with Allen Houston. Let's go, man.
Allen Houston is awesome. He's not brought up in the whole like what if conversation much, but Allen Houston was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was, man. It's so underrated, dude.
Yeah. Shout out the Knicks, man. 10-game winning streak, sweeping the Sixers, sweeping the Cavs. I wouldn't say those two teams were, we had the highest hopes coming into the playoffs for either one of those two teams, but to sweep them in the fashion that they did, it wasn't very close besides game one against the Cavs in this series. But I mean, just incredibly impressive. They're 10 and 2 in the playoffs right now.
Is there any part of you that kind of feels like you may or may not have underestimated the Knicks for
100%.
them going into the finals? Like, do you feel like maybe there's a chance they win more than one game when they get to the finals?
Yeah, there's a chance for sure, especially how they're playing. I mean, all five of their starters are averaging like 14 and a half points plus a game. So it's one of
Yeah.
those, okay, one of us is having a rough night. There's four other guys who step up, and their bench is deeper than before with Deuce McBride and Landry Shamet has been huge for them. I mean, in this series, Jalen Brunson hasn't been able to hit a three. Like he's shooting less than 20% from three well, I don't know. That was going into this game. He wasn't, I don't know what his numbers look like after game four, but he was shooting like less than 20% going into game four, and they're still dominating. Like they're looking good, man. They're looking deep.
Yeah, they are. I'm not. I didn't watch the game because by the time I checked it, it was a 30-point game, and I wasn't going to watch that. But it is interesting to see how they've kind of like figured it out, like at the perfect moment too, because no one really picked them to. I mean, and when the Celtics went out, you were like, oh, I guess it's going to be Knicks Eastern Conference Finals, and then after that, you really didn't care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean it's exciting for them. You also have to think too, by the time they get to the finals with how the Spurs Thunder series is going out west, they're gonna be banged up, man. Whoever comes out of that, it's looking like it'll more than likely be a 7-game series, even if it's not how physical that series has been on both sides for the Spurs and Thunder, which we'll get into here in a little. How physical that series has been. They're going up against the Knicks that are coming off of two straight sweeps. Like they're going to be relatively healthy going into it and still kind of fresh in comparison.
yeah, but I think the rest is really good, but at the same time, like it might be kind of a curse because you might be sitting there with your legs up and you're not really like the longer that series goes on, the less in playoff shape I feel the Knicks are. Like they can do all that stuff, like you can rehab, you can train and all that stuff during that time, but you're not getting like NBA Finals minutes. You're not getting playoff minutes during that time span. So whatever the Knicks do during that break is going to be super important. Whether it's they think the best thing's rest, or if they do think the best thing is to start getting up and down. Like it's going to be interesting to see how Woodson figures out what's best for the Knicks.
Is this a situation if they're in the finals, let's say the Thunder win in seven, and the Thunder will be coming off of very intense games, like the highest intensity games you could ever imagine in the sport. And going in there, they're still going to be in that mode. They're going to know they're playing the Knicks like a week ahead of time, be able to prepare and have that in the back of their mind. If we get past Wemby and the Spurs, we're playing Brunson and the Knicks, where the Knicks are going to be waiting up until the last moment to find out who they're going to play. And then they have the advantage of being in game shape ready. They maybe win the first game or two, but then as the season or as the series goes on, the longer it goes on, the Knicks are like, hey, we're not tired.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I do think that it's not like the Super Bowl where it's like one game and this is it, but over 7 games, maybe. I don't know if it lasts that long though, depending on who makes it.
But man, I'm excited. Knicks in the finals is one of the more exciting things you could have for NBA season. It's just the energy. And I think this year for them especially, this is the first time I feel like there's a chance. Like I think they have more than just a puncher's chance against one of these two teams just because of how it looks. Let's say the Thunder win. AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams both are banged up. They may not return to the Spurs series. I think AJ Mitchell's already been ruled out for game five. You don't know what injuries are going to happen along the way. Not that if you're a Knicks fan, you're rooting for that by any means, but if you're looking at it realistically, even if they're not injured on paper, they're going to be injured in practice. Shea looked like he had like a hurt hand in the last game, like his finger was taped up. Like they're going to be banged up by the time they get to y'all. There's a real chance the Knicks are champions this year. I wouldn't bet on it, but there's a legitimate chance that the New York Knicks are the finals champions at the end of all this.
This city is gonna burn down if that happens. Like we're talking, this is years of pent up basketball frustration for Knicks fans. Is there a chance that like Knicks fans kind of replace in their minds Brunson over Carmelo Anthony?
I think we're already there.
Really?
I think so. Me being as far away from New York as possible, like I don't, I'm not going to speak for them, but I feel like you almost have to. He's gotten you to the Eastern Conference Finals, now gotten you to the finals. Carmelo at best got you to the semifinals. I don't think he ever took them to the finals, if I remember correctly. Back in like 20, yeah, because it was always the Pacers against
Yeah.
the Heat. It was the Celtics in 12 and the Pacers in 13. So I don't think the Knicks ever made the conference finals with Carmelo. I do think there's always going to be that nostalgia of like those Melo years were fun.
Yeah,
But
they were a blast, dude. You never knew when he was gonna go for 60, and it would be him, Rose, Kobe, all those guys, and they'd all like go for 60 in like a week. And each week you're turning on Sports Center like pure happiness.
Brunson makes you believe, though. I feel like he has the strongest pull in New York since Ewing.
He makes you feel like you're gonna win a champion. Like he makes you feel like you're gonna win. Like you feel like almost secure. Like he's a safe bet. Like he's gonna take it. He's a good leader. He's a good player, obviously. So like you do feel a little bit of more security than you did with Melo.
Even Ewing was a bit inconsistent at moments. I mean, he had the reputation for not stepping up in the big moment. And Brunson doesn't have anything remotely near that.
Is this if it ends up being Brunson versus Shea in the NBA Finals, who do you think flops more?
I mean, the numbers say Shea.
Yeah, I think he falls on like 27% of his shots or something.
Yeah. And for
It's
him to get the foul
hilarious.
calls, he's gonna have to flop because the Knicks aren't as physical as the Thunder. Brunson's gonna get the hell beat out of him against the Thunder if that's how it ends up going. Whereas Shea may not get, he's gonna have to he's gonna put on a show a little bit.
Do you think that this kind of levels out the refs' feelings about the game? Because if they call a bad game in New York, they're going to have to be in like protective custody. Like it's bad for them. So like there's a level of fear if you make a bunch of bad calls in New York City. In Oklahoma City, you're not really like it is what it is.
I
So like, do
do
you think that evens out?
I do want to see the energy at a Knicks home game after Shea gets his seventh straight foul call. I want that. I want that really bad. I don't want that to the point where I would rather the Thunder beat the Spurs, but I want to see that energy. I want to know what it feels like. the seventh time that he falls to the ground and throws his hands up, and I would show me Chalamet. I want to see the reaction. Let me
I want
see
to see
Ben Stiller.
him. Yeah, I want to see them, and I want to see those guys all get irritated.
Show me Wu-Tang in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, dude, that'll be the nice part. It'll be weird to go from New York City to Oklahoma City. Like just in kind of like the even San Antonio. Like, and I like San Antonio. I'm not gonna Charles Barkley this at all. I've loved every trip I've ever had to San Antonio, actually. But it's just gonna be a weird dynamic going from like celebrities, like everybody at on the court to like San Antonio or Oklahoma City, where it's more of like a college feel.
Yeah, it definitely feeds into the feeling in OKC though of that college vibe where it's just like, man, nobody here is like fully developed in their brain yet, but man, they can get loud.
If we ever do a podcast where you don't call people in Oklahoma dumb, it's gonna be weird.
It's replaced the whole Doc hate. We haven't gone a couple pods without hating Doc. It's kind of taken the throne.
Yeah, docs are tired now though, so it's not as fun.
Yeah, you kick an old man.
Yeah, like no one's doing that
No.
until he ends up as a Pelicans head coach midway through the season.
Yeah. President of basketball operations.
Or how bad would I have to feel if Doc Rivers led the New Orleans Pelicans to an NBA Finals?
I don't think I'd be able to look forward to a pod more if that happened.
The torment, because I'd have to say nice, like we'd have to be nice about it.
No.
This is you'd be too stubborn to say nice things about the man who wins
Nah,
the NBA championships.
you might be contractually obligated to be nice about the Pelicans. I have not had that requirement.
It's okay. It'll never happen anyway. So
Don't say never, bro. They might be like, we have our guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. So Brunson got Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He didn't have a phenomenal game four, but it wasn't really necessary. They dominated him. That just adds to the legacy of just being the guy for New York. I mean, is he already Mount Rushmore? Like, is Jalen Brunson already Mount Rushmore New York Nick?
yeah, I mean,
Let's talk it out here. So we have Jalen Brunson, there's Carmelo, there's Ewing, there's Bernard King, there's Walt Frazier, there's Willis Reed, and because I feel like he has to be mentioned, there's Stephon Marbury.
oh yeah, you can't not mention him with New York fans. I feel like Brunson's got to be on there, man. I don't want to speak for Nick fans at all, though, but I do feel like Brunson needs to be on their Mount Rushmore. You bring them to the finals, and it's been so long. Like it's been so long to even have a chance at it now. Like there's a chance that we wake up in June and the New York Knicks have the city on fire, and they're gonna have to replace all the buildings in New York City. It's gonna be ridiculous. But there's a real chance that ends up happening, and then Brunson has to be it. If Brunson pulls it off and beats Shea in the NBA Finals, I'm not a big Ewing guy anyway, so you can take him off regardless.
Or if we get the David versus Goliath of Brunson versus Wimby, that'll make for some cool posters.
Yeah, what?
I feel like me looking at it as a non-Knicks fan without the emotion attached, I see Willis Reed and Walt Frazier. I feel like you have to have in there as like the two guys who got you the championships in the 70s.
Yeah,
And
those are the two I would
then
think to be.
and then I think Ewing has to be there. And then Brunson's the fourth. It feels weird not including Bernard King. That feels very sacrilegious towards New York. And a lot of people would say it's crazy not to put Carmelo in there, but I think for me, without having the emotional attachment to the Knicks that people from New York do, I would have Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, Patrick Ewing, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I understand why you'd have Patrick Ewing. I just don't like him. So that's why I would take him off and keep Reed on there. But
Who do you
that's just
replace in Ewing's spot?
Ewing would replace Bernard would replace Ewing, and then you'd have Brunson.
So no Melo.
And I love Melo.
I know you do.
I really do, dude. I like he's kind of like the T Mac of that little era there. That hurt to say.
I know you're fighting every urge to not bring up the Syracuse team right now.
I did think about that when you immediately like when we started talking about it. I was about to be like, I mean, he is from Syracuse. He didn't win him a national championship, so it was like tough. Like that's extra New York for him. Like it was a great team, man.
Yeah. Shout out Brunson, man. Did you have any other thoughts on the Knicks or any congratulatory or
Shout
what?
out to Cat for playing well, man.
Yeah.
Cat played well all series long, and that's him stepping up is big. And it kind of makes the series going into whether it is Oklahoma City or San Antonio it's gonna be cool to see how Cat plays against those guys. Like whether it's Cat versus Shet or Cat versus Hardenstein, and then you have Cat versus Wimby. Like you still want to watch it. Cat's a great offensive talent and a great talent in general. So it's gonna be cool to see like two bigs actually go up against each other that do have. I wouldn't say that Wimby and Cat are on the same playing field, but Cat's right there. And so it's going to be interesting to see those two guys go at it. So hopefully the Spurs win.
Yeah. He was such a big question mark for them throughout the year, by our opinion, by New Yorkers' opinion, by every media outlet. It was, can Cat step up to the plate? It turns out, yeah, so far.
Yeah, so far.
And even if he doesn't in the finals, going 10 and 2 in the playoffs to make the finals, that's pretty big on your resume regardless.
I think you kind of start more because I know there was kind of like a little bit of talk of blowing the Knicks up and getting rid of Cat and trading him off. I think you kind of move away from that now. I think he's figured out how to play in the system, which I think like I didn't know if they'd make the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals, but like there was a part of me that felt like once they figured it out, they were going to be fine. And like it just takes a little while because everybody wanted Woodson fired too, and it's like, well, let's give him a minute. Like let him figure it out first.
It's been a crazy ride this past month for the Knicks.
Yeah,
Like you said,
because
when it was 2-2 against the Hawks, it was like, it's over, blow it up. I'm done with this. Never want to
get
hear
rid
it
of
again.
everybody.
Yeah.
Like Stephen A. Smith was yelling more than usual about them.
We're rooting for you, Knicks. We're very pro New York Knicks podcast here. We said Knicks in 6 against the Cavs. We were wrong. Knicks in 4.
Yeah,
And Knicks in 4 in the finals.
definitely not. Not Knicks fans probably think that though, no matter who they're playing. So I know them street interviews have got to be great right now.
Oh, the vibes.
Like New York City's got to be wonderful right now.
I think I saw NYPD was deployed before the game, like just in case, like
Good
prepare.
call. Good call, guys. That was smart.
On the flip side of this, if you're the Cavaliers, you barely make the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you get destroyed after blowing an awful lead in game one. You have your head coach say, analytically, we've won 2 out of 3 games.
Hey, that's gonna be the funniest quote of the postseason so far. That was hilarious. And him trying to like bullshit his way through it because I like it had to have clicked at a mid sentence when he was like, "Oh, that was stupid. I'm gonna go ahead and try to like zigzag my way out of this bullshit that I just said."
Oh, that was definitely 100%. I'm trying to save my job
Yeah, there
because
was
my
pure
GM has
panic.
told me these analytics matter and I won on these analytics. So I have to make it clear I am not the reason this has happened. So all this has happened for Cleveland. Now what? How do you view the team going forward? Do you feel like y'all can get better from this? Because I don't know how you can be positive walking away.
I feel like you have to think about it. There's two ways you could think about it. You could go, James Harden doesn't work, and this isn't going to work here, and it's time to move off him now, move off him early. Or you can have the other mindset of, okay, he came in midway through the season. Obviously, there's some building parts. You got to put in a new. He's got to learn a new offense. He's got to learn his role. Is there a chance that they come back better after this? But Harden has shown in the playoffs that he's just not that guy.
Yeah, you could scapegoat them, but then you got to look at
Should be
yourself in the mirror and be like, we had Garland. So now
I
what?
agree because I think if you get rid of James, I don't know who you bring in. Like, I mean, Kyrie's available. Do you try to go get him? That would be a weird fit with Donovan Mitchell, both ball dominant point guard types. Like, that's not going to work. So who are you going to get? Do you figure out a way to package something to get like, I don't know, Bam from freaking Miami or something
Do we bring Giannis back on the table?
for Cleveland? I don't know if Cleveland has enough pieces to get to Giannis.
Is
Unless
Evan
you're
Mobley as exciting of a piece as he once was, where he could be the center point of a Giannis trade?
there were parts of me during this series that felt that way. Or last series, I think it was. Last series, I think it was because he made a couple moves that were like, oh, that's right, you can do that. I forgot you can Euro and almost play like a guard sometimes, and you can do like good moves and get to the basket where you need to, and finish over everybody because you're what 6'11", 7 feet tall. So like there were moments in that series where I was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. That would work for Giannis, but you probably have to give up. I feel like Cleveland doesn't. That's all you really have to give up. And I don't know if that's enough to get Milwaukee enticed,
Yeah.
especially because their draft picks are not going to be high picks either. Like you're picking what middle 20s, lower 20s, or higher 20s. I mean,
Yeah, especially if you're bringing in Giannis.
yeah. So like your draft pick doesn't really mean that much to me if I'm Milwaukee because Milwaukee you need. If I'm getting rid of Giannis, I need a generational talent, and Mobley's not a generational talent. Really, really good, really, really good. Especially in moments, I thought he was really, really good, but not generational.
Yeah. Or really has the upside to become, yeah, he could be the best player on a championship team, or even the second best player. Like, I think we've kind of run the course on that,
Yeah, I think so
which
too.
sucks because he was
Yeah,
getting KG comparisons.
yeah. I liked him coming out of college. I thought he was nice, and then he went to Cleveland and just hasn't really blossomed into what everybody thought he could be.
Has when he was coming out of college, I'm trying to remember the hype around him. Was he receiving similar hype to what Caleb Wilson is receiving now?
I mean, I think people were love Wilson than they are on Mobley, but I think the conversations were like kind of similar. Like I don't really think anybody thought. I think Mobley thought he could be KG. I don't really think a lot of other people thought he could be KG. Like Caleb Wilson, you almost like he's probably gonna end up like a KG. Pascal Siakam would be like the low end of his career type.
Yeah, like a consistent, this is gonna sound mean, a consistent, elite, really good Stromile Swift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, shout out to Stromo.
Yeah. Highlight reel goes crazy.
Oh, it really does.
If you're the Cavs and this is how it goes down, is it a legitimate on the table? Let's go all in on bringing LeBron back. Let's give us something to look forward to next year.
To me, If I'm the Cavs, I say no. Only because I really love Donovan Mitchell, so this is partly pretty biased about this. Is that's looking Donovan Mitchell in the eyes and saying, "Hey, next season doesn't fucking matter." Like, who cares? Because you're not winning. LeBron's not putting you over the hump to win a championship on that team. That could be my LeBron hate, but it doesn't like I'm not confident in that either. Because like LeBron can come out rehab wonderfully and be out of like because he's not playing as long as he has in seasons past. Like he's been out of the playoffs now for a few weeks. Like he could probably come back next year and be like I don't want to say 30-year-old LeBron, but like a really capable player that could probably be like your third best scorer on a championship team. But that's not the point.
And is there the whole returning home, I got my mojo back? It adds a different level of motivation to me than being somewhere that maybe I don't have deep roots tied to.
I'm not gonna lie. If they went in all in on Cleveland and Cleveland made, or they went all in on LeBron and Cleveland made a run to the finals, I'd probably be a Cleveland fan because that would be an awesome story, dude. Like you couldn't write an ending to a book better. Like you could, that would be like the perfect happy ending in the LeBron James era to the point where I'd almost have, if he would lead them to a championship this last year, you'd have to be like, all right, he's the GOAT. Like I've said what I've said. I still kind of mean it, but like, damn, that was a cool way to end.
At 42.
Yeah, dude. And if somehow he brought his son along for the ride too, like if we add that in there, you can't not appreciate that. Like even A. Smith would have to be like, yeah, he's a good dad. I fucked up. Skip Bayless comes out and apologizes like it's a big happy moment. Like LeBron's end of his career is exactly how it should end in a movie.
I've seen some reports too of a potential Donovan Mitchell trade to Dallas for Kyrie and bring LeBron to Cleveland.
If I'm Dallas, I'm probably taking that.
Yeah. I want you to throw in a pick, make me feel better about it because you could argue Kyrie helped us get to a finals. Donovan Mitchell got y'all swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Throw in a pick or two. But
Yeah, but Dallas is like 5 years away from really competing, probably. You go ahead and add Donovan Mitchell to that, it accelerates their timeline. Not saying that he's better than Kyrie, he's just different than Kyrie. And he's not been injured, thank God, leading up to this point. So like it'd be like a fresher version of that.
and Kyrie's what, like 34
Gotta be
now-ish?
it's gotta be older. I think he's like 36.
Yeah, he's somewhere there,
He's
34, 35, somewhere around there.
he's gotta
So,
be.
and what Donovan Mitchell, is he 30
He if Kyrie's 34. Okay, that kind of surprised me. He was born in 92.
on the money?
So Donovan Mitchell's gotta be younger.
Yeah, 29.
29. 29 on the dot.
God, I'm good.
Dude, that was good.
Got them both.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what that says about me that I just know these guys' ages off the top of my head, but there you go.
Good for you, man. Yeah, I'm taking a couple years younger Donovan Mitchell and pairing him with Cooper Flag. I'm not giving up this year's draft pick though. If I'm Dallas, were you saying like Dallas would have to throw in another pick to get
I was
to
saying
get Don
Cleveland
Cleveland? Okay, because I was gonna say if I'm Dallas, I'm not doing it then because you can get somebody else in this draft that's gonna equal Donovan Mitchell potentially.
for sure.
Like if that's the direction you're going, there's enough guards in there that you can pick and choose who you want. Because what are they 9?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're getting a really good guard if that's the direction you're going.
Yeah, guard, or you could get a big, like, there's multiple directions at 9. Yeah, you definitely don't trade that. I feel like Cleveland would have to give up more because Kyrie got the help the Mavericks get to the finals. And if you want to reunite him back in Cleveland, he helped y'all win a championship. You're going to value him maybe even more than we do. So,
So you think what a first round pick in next year's draft
yeah, something like
or
that.
or a second round?
You give me a first.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if I would take that then.
Okay, enjoy getting bounced in round 2 or maybe the Eastern Conference Finals next year. We know
No,
you're
I mean like no, I mean if I'm Dallas, I don't know if I'm taking that.
uh
that makes me question if I'm Dallas because like I don't want to mortgage my future on that per se when I can go build it in the draft. Oh, because all you're doing by adding Donovan Mitchell is accelerating the team by like 2 or 3 years. Like you're accelerating where you should be. And so like I don't know if you risk that on just building something more like what OKC has and not really like build through the draft and see if you can just get a really good team that way.
Yeah. I think it also depends. I don't know off the top of my head how many picks Dallas owns that aren't their own, where they can focus on competing to the highest level while also knowing they're going to have a few decent draft picks on the way too,
Yeah,
regardless of that.
that'd be interesting to see. LeBron back in Cleveland though, that would be gotta be
Make it
so good.
happen. I want to see that regardless of what the team looks like. I think it'd be good. He would have to take a massive pay cut to make it happen. And I don't know where he stands on doing something like that. He's not necessarily in a position where he like feels like he needs to get one final big payday. I would imagine that's not where his mind's at. But at the same time, I also understand being like, I'm gonna be 42. My wife has been begging me to come home for the past 7 years. If I'm gonna go out there and play one more year, y'all pay me a shit ton of money. I completely understand if that's where his mind's at.
I can see it going both ways for LeBron because he was at one point in like 2003 when he first got drafted, like the most beloved player. Like everybody kind of, and then he did the decision, and it's been downhill for him since then. Him taking a pay cut to go back home would be like that, I feel like the fans would appreciate it, and I feel like there's a part of him that really does want to be liked. Like I don't know if he feels it as much as he did probably in 2010, where he really cared to be liked, but now I think like that could be his moment too, where he's like, "See, I'm not that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
I'm a good guy. Now I'm gonna go win you a championship. Watch this shit."
God, that'd be awesome, man.
Bro, it would be cool to see like Cleveland, San Antonio for the finals, or even him versus Shea would actually be sick for the finals.
Can you imagine Cleveland, San Antonio? Because that was his first finals appearance.
That's
Was
what I was thinking. That was
Yeah.
why I like that's, and then him and Wimby it'd be like passing the torch to like the. It would just be a sick moment for the NBA. I'd be
Kind
all
of how
for it.
Duncan passed it to him.
Yep,
He can then pass it back to Wimby.
such a good moment. It'd be so good.
Man, that's a good note for us to take a break, and when we'll come back, we're gonna get into the Spurs Thunder game four and project the rest of this series. And per usual, we're gonna spend plenty of time just talking about how much we love Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, we gotta have a Victor Wembanyama hour.
So if you want to hear that, we'll be right back. So the Spurs tied it up against the Thunder. We got a 2-2. Looks like we are in store for a long series. A big night. You could kind of tell as soon as the game started, the energy in that crowd, first off, was just awesome. That energy was bananas. And they were ready for a blowout. It was going to be either a blowout or last gasp moment, and we got the blowout. We got the we're going to dominate and be in control the entire game. You may cut it close here and there, but we're going to be in control the entire time, and they were.
It was nice to see him, especially coming after the last game too, where I just feel like they got beat up and down the floor. After the overtime game, they really didn't seem like they had their legs at all. Like Wemby was shuffling a lot, which I know we're a very pro Wemby podcast, but you could tell he was gassed. Not just probably from that, but all the pulling and yanking and all the other crap that goes on when you play OKC. So seeing them come out in this last game and just dominate from the jump was nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and his intensity was crazy. He had one play where he dunked it, and the reaction he had when he turned back to look at Castle, who I think made the pass to him, and he yelled at him. It was the most like intense, like I will die before we lose tonight. And man, I was gonna die if they lost. Like I was ready to run through a wall just watching that team play. And the Thunder looked like for the first time. Even I don't think they even looked like this against the Pacers last year. For the first time, they looked like shit. Like, whoa. we just got hit in the face hard. We didn't have an answer. The Pacers, I felt like the Thunder, they always felt like they were the better team. Even though
Yeah,
it went to
yeah,
seven, they always had that confidence and that swagger of like, we're better, we're gonna figure it out some way, we're gonna figure them out. The Halliburton shot did hit them pretty hard in game one, but that was game one. They're like, yeah, it'll be all right. This was the first time that they looked like, man, they might be better than us.
yeah. I agree because you really didn't see in the Pacers series, and I think Shea in the Pacers series definitely thought that he had, I guess he said all the answers, and it was just a matter of like fitting it into the right test at the time. And so like random things would happen with the Pacers, whether it was McConnell, the white dude going off, he would go off, and then you'd be like, oh shit, like how do we bounce from this? We weren't really expecting that, but they still always had like an answer throughout all the games. And we don't really get to know how Game Seven would have if everybody was healthy, but it seemed like OKC was going to pull it out anyway. Against the Spurs, you see that moment of like, oh, like we don't really have anything that we can throw. Like we don't have an answer to that. Like how is he not tired? Like I think they were expecting him to be more tired this game than the last game, and they were figured they had worn him out, Wemby, and that he just couldn't. I think they were also relying on the fact that they don't think he can carry that whole team. Like if they all have bad shooting nights, he can't really carry them.
Yeah. And I want to be clear with me saying that. I don't think the Thunder are walking away like they're better than us. They're going to beat us. I think they still believe they're by far the better team. But I think in the moment, it was we don't have an answer. AJ Mitchell is out. We aren't creating offense. Shea is. I love the Spurs, but the things that we complained about the Thunder with the Spurs, they were kind of beating the hell out of Shea in game four. Like they were hitting them and grabbing them and pulling them and dude, they were doing that a lot. And if you're taking Shea effectively out of the game and AJ Mitchell is out, who's creating the offense for you? Jalen Williams is out as a secondary scoring option. Who's the second guy to go get you a bucket on this team? It's not Chet. Chet's not doing it. He hasn't stepped up. They asked Shea in the press conference, what can y'all do to get Chet more involved? And he said, hmm. It's not really a good response.
Yeah,
Who's the next guy who's going to step up?
team chemistry went down 40 points on that answer, man. That
Yeah,
was
that was
not.
the wrong response.
Yeah, it's not a good answer. He has some weird responses in general this week that aren't really Shea like responses. But the other thing that you touched on that I'm gonna say too, with this is the first time we've seen OKC's offense not be able to produce something somewhere somehow. Like this is the first time they've really been tested where usually someone comes in, whether it's even Jared McCann or Shet stepping up, like they just don't have somebody who they can rely on if Shea's really struggling right now. Like it's the first time I watched their offense and we're like, oh shit, they're out of sync. And you watch San Antonio and you're like, oh, this is how good San Antonio can be when all the things are clicking in the right direction for them.
Yeah. And that's the big plus that the Spurs have and why they've been able to be so effective against the Thunder all year. They have 3 point guards who can get into the paint whenever they want. And there's not another team in the league who has anything remotely to the degree of the point guard position of De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper that you name it, who do you want to get to the paint at that moment right then?
Dude, Dylan Harper is a it's like watching like poetry in motion. It's beautiful. Like he'll find like little crevices in the defense and just slip through and finish on the other side with one hand or finish like he has multiple different ways to finish around the rim. And you said I think like two podcasts ago about how well he finishes around the rim. And I think the next game he had like 12 points off of different finishes around the rim. They were all different ones. And it was like, damn, that's crazy. Like that was a good time to call that.
Yeah. He might be the most natural finisher as a rookie that I've ever seen. The only other person you can bring up is D Rose.
I was gonna say Kyrie Irving, just because of
Kyrie
the way,
too.
just because
That's
of the way
right.
he finishes around the rim, opposed to like Rose could always like slam it, but like he's got more creative finishes
My
typically.
apologies for not bringing up Kyrie. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, you fucked up on that
Yeah, my bad. My bad. My bad on
one.
that one.
I was like, this dude really just like the Kyrie hate real.
You're right. You're right. Kyrie. And like another person in that conversation is like Tony Parker, but as a rookie, I don't think he was quite to that level. Like Dylan Harper what makes him so great is he's so good off of 1 foot, off of 2 feet, off going leading with his right, leading with his left, switching in the air. Like he has it all. And he can get to the paint around. This is the best defense in the league, and he's getting to the paint whenever he wants.
as
That's
a
not
rookie.
something that's supposed to happen.
As a rookie too. Like you can tell his like you can. I'm not saying like not taking away anything from him, but you can tell his dad played in the NBA. Like he has that pedigree. He like it kind of seems like he knows the NBA game a little bit better, probably because his dad is Ron Harper. Like that helps in that situation.
For sure. Shout out to
Like
Harper, man.
yeah, dog. One of the best. Like he's so much fun to watch.
Another person I'd like to shout out is Carter Bryant. He he's gonna be something. He is getting it's kind of funny. We were texting about it. When you watch a Spurs game, there's like a 50% chance as soon as you turn it on, you're gonna see somebody yelling at Carter Bryant.
Every game doesn't matter.
It kind of has it reminds me so much of like the Mario Chalmers on the Heat days where just every time you watch the Heat game, somebody was mad at Mario Chalmers. But with Carter Bryant, it's different because everybody sees something in him. He's just such a raw talent. He makes a lot of mistakes. He falls for a lot of veteran moves, but he holds himself to the highest accountability. But I love seeing Mitch Johnson go at him and pull him in by the jersey, yell at him, and see Carter Bryant take it. Wimby go over there, remind him, hey, you're still the shit. You're gonna be great. Don't worry about it, and then him go to the bench and basically start like crying to himself, do everything he can to hold back tears. I love that because he cares so much, and he's gonna be a beast.
Yeah, he's for sure gonna be a beast. I love watching him play.
It's just growing pains. That's it. Just some
Yeah.
growing.
Once he figures it out and like actually figures it out, he's going to be like incredibly good. I was trying to figure out who I was going to compare him to, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head for him. I know you said like really young Kawhi, which kind of makes sense because of his body type and his build, and I could see him being a young Kawhi, but obviously probably never get to that Kawhi level.
Yeah, he's far more raw of a talent than Kawhi was at that age. But Kawhi, people forget about that because we've grown so accustomed to Kawhi's greatness. When he came in the league, offensively, he was not somebody you had to worry about at all. Defensively, he always had it, just like Carter Bryant does. But Kawhi didn't make near as many mistakes as Carter. But offensively, it was like, please let the ball swing to Kawhi. That's who you were wanting to get the ball and wanting to take the shot, especially at three back then. Kawhi didn't have it. Eventually, he became like a 43% three-point shooter, but that
Yeah,
was through
somehow like
development.
overnight. It happened like kind of overnight though. It was like quick when he finally figured it out.
Yeah.
But I think Carter Bryant, you could see like a little bit of that in him, where once he figures it out, he figures it out. Like I don't feel like he makes the same mistake more than like twice. Like he's not continually like when someone gets onto him, he actually like takes it in and goes and figures it out a little bit.
To kind of piggyback on that, not making the same mistake twice, what was the most shocking to me in game 4 with this Spurs team, with the age that they are and how young they are, they lost a turnover battle terribly in game 3. In game
Yeah,
two, I mean, they were turning the ball over like crazy. A very young team like that, it's very common for them to just continue losing that battle. But going into game 4, they won it. And they were turning the Thunder over consistently and made them look bad. There were multiple times I was like, what are the Thunder doing? They're just running straight into a double or a triple team, which is what they do to guys. They give you like a false sense of security. Yeah, you can get the paint on us, and then they collapse like crazy on you, like a pack of wolves. And the Spurs did that to them in this game. It was very cool for me to see that they went from turning it over at the worst time over and over to then I think they had a total of 11 or something like that in game 4.
really good because I think in game three they had 26.
Something like that.
Like, it was something crazy. They were turning like I remember I was watching it and it was like they turned the ball over 3 or 4 times in a row, and it was like God, dog, at crucial moments too, like where they had a chance to get over the hump, but they would turn the ball over and then they go back down like 10 or 11, and it was
Mhm.
like, man, if y'all keep doing this, you're never gonna catch the Thunder. Like
Yeah.
regardless of how I feel about them, they're too well coached. They're too well oiled of a machine, and that was the thing. Oklahoma City wants to play fast, so they can turn you over and get outlet passes and hit corner threes. Like that's what they want to do. Like or get Shea going downhill. Like those are the things they're looking to do. San Antonio really doesn't want to play that way. Like San Antonio would rather play a little bit slower because it benefits Wemby.
And that kind of adjustment to cut out the turnovers and everything to that degree, that's something you see from a veteran team. Where a veteran team, they turn the ball over a lot. Excuse me. They turn over the ball a lot in a game. They're like, okay, well, we had a terrible game. We're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
For them to do that when their average age in the starting lineup's like 23 and a half is crazy against one of, if not the best team of this generation, is wild to be able
The
to do.
San, the San Antonio Spurs are younger than the LSU Tigers.
That's wild.
Hey man, we're gonna go compete for the NBA Finals next year too.
Man, at least like a G League title or something.
Something we gotta get something out of this.
If you don't, that would be hilarious.
There's something like $200 million in NIL money between the football team and the basketball team, and so like if you don't win or nothing, like there's no point. Like every student should get a refund.
Enjoy the NIT.
To not make the NCAA tournament if you're LSU, like you gotta fire Will Wade on the spot, like that day. Like don't even let him get to the tarmac or anything.
We had a little bit of technical difficulties right there when we were talking about that. For anybody listening, if you're watching, I'm sure you can tell we've had some pretty crazy weather where we're at throughout the day today on Memorial Day. So just bear with us on that part. But um, I'm so excited for Game 5. I I think it's just it's the game. It's going to I'm not going to say it's going to decide the series, but depending how it goes, it's going to raise so many questions and red flags for the other team. If it's a blowout on either side, like that's
That's what I was
when
gonna say. If OKC comes out and blows out the Spurs, then I think it's done in six. Like I don't see this. I don't see them making that comeback. If there's a part of me that does feel if the Spurs blow out OKC, OKC still wins another game and pushes it to seven, no matter what. I just think OKC because of their age and their being in the finals last year, I think they have a little bit more bounce back in than the Spurs do. But I could be very wrong.
yeah, because Game 4 was a hell of a bounce back.
It could like that's a game where you could also lose it if you're the Spurs, and it just all comes crumbling down. You go from like 26 turnovers to 30 turnovers, and there's just this dramatic shift, and you just get beat by 40, and then the series is done. So like the Spurs coming back, I could be completely wrong with that prediction and saying that if the Spurs blow out OKC, then maybe the Spurs do win in six.
Another guy I'd love to shout out for the Spurs is Devin Vassell. Devin
I love
Vassell is awesome. He is a vital member of this team. When I'm looking forward to the future of the Spurs team, everybody, of course, knows Wemby, Castle, and Harper. Those are like the key members. I include Vassell in that because he embodies what they are, and he had that energy where it's we are not losing this. That pass ahead that Castle had to him in transition, that Vassell Castle could see where Vassell was headed to his spot on the court in that right wing. It's like, I'm giving it to him. He pulled it and hit it, and the crowd went crazy. It's like as soon as the ball reached his hand, those Spurs fans knew he was about to pull it in transition. And once he pulled it, they knew it was going in. And when it went in, they just went bananas. He always strikes the chord when they need it most. And I want to give him the praise that I gave Alex Caruso back in what was it, game two for
Yeah,
the
game two.
the Thunder. Really, I think it was game one and game two where he hit every big shot they needed at the right moment. He positioned himself where they needed at the right moment. He was the steady hand when he looked around and saw, okay, we still got some young guys who are a bit nervous. He was a steady hand. Devin Vassell kind of plays that role, even though I think he's only like 25. But he kind of plays that role for the team where he's consistent and he brings it every night. He wants it. as much as anybody on the court wants it, regardless of how much of a star they are, how much a role player. He wants it just as much as anybody, and it's undeniable when you watch him. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think Vassell is I think he's like he's on his fourth or fifth year in the league. Like, I think
I'm
he's
like,
been there. But I like the fact that he impacts like every aspect of the game. Like he'll hit big threes. He's great at pulling them in transition. His transition three is great. But like the last game, he had 13 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He's literally affecting every aspect of the game. Like he just strikes me as a dude who's just trying to find places to win. Like he's gonna find his moment, whether it be rebounding, playing defense. Like I just feel like he does everything, and then the scoring for him is like icing on the cake. Like he's gonna do all the other stuff, but then he's also gonna hit that shot that you absolutely need him to hit. Because I think it was game one where he hit some big threes in transition, and then definitely in game four he hit a couple in transition. And it was like ones where it was like it takes you from like a 5 point lead to an 8 point lead or a 9 point lead to a 12 point lead, and it's just like one of those moments where you're like, yeah, we're beating we're winning this shit. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be a cakewalk. Everybody's hitting. Like it's gonna be great.
yeah. He reminds me so much of the Boston era Ray Allen. Of you're
Yeah,
so worried so much of Paul Pierce and KG. Rondo always had the ball and was controlling it. They had a very deep bench, but there are certain games where it's like, oh, this is going to be Ray's game. Like he's pulling them up from 27 in transition. It's just going to be his game, and Devin Vassell has that, and their strokes kind of similar. So. They have that high release and he jumps. Devin Vassell's got that more of an old school jump shot where he leaves the ground. It's not a set shot. He
yeah,
jumps.
he jumps. I was gonna say that's the big difference for me is his feet. Like he jumps on the shot and then he'll kick his legs out a little bit too.
Yeah. So I love Devin Vassell. I couldn't be a bigger fan of his. I view, obviously, you look at Fox and his timetable is a bit different than the long-term Spurs. I think he's proven to be extremely vital and important for this current rendition of them and this run because when they didn't have him, they looked rough. Those young guards got in their head a bit more. They're a bit more frazzled, whereas De'Aaron has been able to remain very calm and he's been able to hit big shots when they need it and really, beyond just hitting big shots, get to the paint, get an easy layup when they needed one. But when you look long term, I view it as a Wimby, Harper, Castle, Vassell. I would love to see Carter Bryant become that fifth guy. And I think they desperately need a four. They need a four man. They need a power forward, a legitimate power forward who can rebound, box out, and space the floor. They need, to me, if I'm the Spurs and if he's available at number, I think they pick 20, I am running to the podium to take Morris Johnson if I can. Like he fits exactly what they need. Provide that defense, he can rebound, he's very switchable, which is what they need, and he shows a lot of promise to become a very good stretch the floor guy, kind of like a Serge Ibaka type.
Yeah, it's like a Serge Ibaka type to that Spurs team, and OKC is not gonna be as big of a problem. It's just not an issue then.
And can I say they need a new backup? Luke Cornett had a very good game four. He was doing stuff. The prayers from the nuns worked. It 100% worked. But the
How
rest of the series, he's looked rough.
how long have you held that in for this pod? I know your hate for Luke Cornett, so I'm just curious of how long you held this in.
It's funny, I haven't brought it up on the podcast how many times he's looked unplayable, particularly in this series. But if you were to
Yeah,
ask Wendy, I think she only knows Luke Cornett's name off of me complaining about him this series. Like he has been awful besides a game four.
yeah, he's been god awful, dude. It was so bad. I think it was game three where he just looked so out of place and just fouled like on purpose because he had nothing else he could possibly do and just grabbed somebody. And I was like, dude, you're so ass. Why are you even out there, dude? You're
Yeah.
pointless. Like you are the most pointless tall person of all time. Like you just don't belong there. Like I understand if we played one on one, he would beat me for sure. I'm not saying that I'm better than him as a basketball player, but in that level, he's out of place. Like it's just not good for him.
There's been a lot of moments during the series where it's been like, well, what can you do?
Dude, and the fact that you can't switch when he's in the game. Like that's the crazy part about women. You can switch. Like on guard to big screens, you can switch. Like without a problem, Wemby can guard him. Wemby guarded Steph Curry for like 3 minutes one time while Curry ran around the entire court. That like he does. Not shitting on Steph Curry. I think he's a great player, but he runs around a lot. It pissed me off to guard him. So like when Cornette's in the game, he can't go east to west at all to save his life, and
Does he
he's
play with ankle weights?
he's got to like it's not good.
He had a play in game four though, where he switched off like a tag on a guy off like a drive and drop off to somebody, and he's spun immediately, swapped his feet and blocked it off the glass. And I was,
That'll never
what
happen
did they
again.
inject into you before this game, Luke? Because
That'll never happen again.
no.
He
That
probably thought the same thing too. He probably was like, "Oh shit, we can do that."
and then they immediately cut to the nuns and they're doing a prayer over there. It's like, yep, something's happening in
So
San Antonio tonight.
they're cooking something up for Luke Cornett that way doesn't look so terrible. That
What are,
that the take by Jason Williams did not age well.
oh yeah.
It did not age well.
It turns out the take of they have KD, but we have um shit. Jay
Jaden McDaniels.
McDaniels. My bad. They have KD, we have Jay McDaniels does not work with. Yeah, we have Wimby, but we also have Luke Cornett. Like it doesn't
It did not work. Did not.
no. What are your expectations for game five?
I think Shea comes out and scores like 40. To be honest with you,
He's due.
like yeah, he's due for a game where you're like, oh yeah, you are the best player like in the world. Like I feel like that game is coming for him. Like there hasn't been one really in the playoffs this year. He's pretty much stayed around like the 24. I think he got to 30 a couple times, but not many because they were sitting him a lot of times in the early series. And now I think like there's got to be a part of him that just wants to come out and drop 50 and go shoot 30 free throws.
I do think I agree with you. Like I think we are very much so due for a Shea game and game five, 2-2 at home is the time to have it. I think we could have that or whatever he got going on with his fingers and his hands become more prevalent. And we start to see it more. And we start to see a bit more of like, I guess the seeds being planted in our minds of maybe the Thunder are in danger because Shea's now dealing with a nagging injury too. It may not be the most long-term affecting injury, but if on your shooting hand you have more than one finger that's killing you and that you have to wrap up, that's going to do damage. Because I did notice a lot in game four, really the whole series, but particularly game four, he was trying his hardest to be more of a facilitator than typical. And that could be because he sees the situation. They don't have a second like shot creator guy. So he feels like he has to fill that role. But it could also potentially be is like something's nagging him.
I mean, he's seen a lot of double teams too lately. Like I feel like teams, especially when you get into the fourth quarter, they've just committed to getting the ball out of his hands, which is what one of the reasons why he does have higher assist numbers right now because he is a lot of times you'll see the double coming before he gets really doubled, and he'll be able to kick it out, and those guys will hit threes, which is why they've won a lot of their games by a lot of points, is because he's able to kick it out and guys can hit shots. But not having that, I do think there is something with his hand because he has like, I think in the by the second quarter of the game four, he had already had like 6 or 7 assists. Like he was cooking as far as assists were concerned.
Mhm. He it seems like he's looking to pass more than score on more plays, particularly early in the game, which I'll be interested to see in game five if that's also the case. If he comes out there's like, okay, I got to get guys involved. I got to see who's going to be hot tonight. So we know who we're going to play because we are deep. We do have the luxury of we can see who's going to have a good game tonight and we can pivot our rotations off of who starts off hot for this first quarter, and we can go from there. We have the talent to do that. Or does he go out there tonight? I'm making a statement and I'm dropping 35 plus.
I could see him dropping 35 plus. I could see a Shea game where he just absolutely goes off. Like he scored 19 points last night or in game four. Like I know that's got to be nagging him because like I mean he played by his standards bad. I mean he was 0 for 1 for 3.
Yeah. Um, my expectation, it's tough to say. This is the pivotal moment. This is where the Thunder of like, okay, they got us. We're dealing with injury, but we'll adjust and we're going to show them that we are the better team. Or this is the wait, young guy got him on the ropes moment. And the Spurs don't look to be letting up at all. They look like they kind of got their second wind because they looked exhausted game two and three. And game four, they didn't look tired really until like the end of the third. They looked to be a little bit tired, and
Yeah.
then they got another win in the fourth quarter and they put them away. But um, I'll be interested to see. I do think it was awesome, awesome for the Spurs that they were able to rest the starters for the fourth quarter, that they were able to get that extra bit of rest. They didn't have to play as long of a game. I think that will go very far for them for game five.
Yeah, it's kind of my opposite take with the New York thing, but yeah, they needed the rest. Like you could tell their legs were they needed a blowout win and kind of give Wemby a little bit of a rest and give Harper some rest. They were all hurt the game before too. Like all of them were dealing with injuries the last in was that game two, I think, or game three?
Mhm.
Each of them had like a nagging injury. Harper went to the locker room for a few minutes. Actually didn't come back. Well, he came back out and then they sent him back in. And everybody who bets on everything thought there was like a giant conspiracy because, you know, why would you let a guy go back to the locker room?
Yeah, and it was a guy wearing a FanDuel jacket who told him to go back.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I like a good conspiracy.
Yeah.
Just seems like a weird one to pick on.
And then we didn't know if they were going to play until last minute.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Um, yeah, it's exciting at the very least. At what point do we have to go on Lou Dort watch? And it's like,
He's got to be cooking something because he hasn't had a Draymond moment in a while. He hasn't kicked anybody. He hasn't like really tackled anybody.
I
He
really
hasn't.
hope that this part doesn't age well.
Oh, me too. But it's coming.
He had a moment, was it in game three, where De'Aaron Fox dove for a loose ball and Lou Dort happened to fall on his hurt ankle. And it was like, oh,
Yeah, he
it's
did.
it's really unfortunate for Lou Dort how clumsy he is, that
Yeah,
he's always the guy involved in these injuring plays.
it's like
But
Grayson Allen when he was at Duke. He just happened to be involved where the guy tripped on his shoe. He just
man,
happened to be involved in this injury. Like, come on, man. It
you're
doesn't just
touted
keep
as one of the
happening.
best defenders in the league, but you also, every time it's a tight moment, you happen to become the most clumsy guy on the court at the same time. I don't know if those can be equal. I don't think those two can coexist.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, the Lou Dort moment is coming. You can only hope that he takes out Luke Cornett, though.
That'd be a waste, but I'm good with it. Be a waste of using your super.
Yeah. Poor Lou Dort, dude.
Yeah.
He's really a Miami Heat guy at heart.
Nah, he still got the Celtic in him.
I can see him playing for Miami.
I
I
kind of
just
could.
I just can't wait for the moment that Miami goes and gets like Lou Dort and makes Steve they fire Spo and make Steve Nash their head coach.
Is this because I said Doc in New Orleans? Is this why we're doing this?
Yeah, my feelings were still hurt about that. That and Wendy said LSU sucks too. So I had to...
Bro, she wanted to, before we started, she was like, I need to go in there and apologize so I get my spot on the pod again. But then she went to bed. So
That's
I feel like this is a good point. We can take a quick break and then we're going to come back and talk about some off-season stuff, kind of look ahead of it, talk about some draft things as well. Because one thing I've seen a lot of discussion about is the Wizards trading the number one pick. And one thing I'm curious about is seeing how much the value we place on the number one pick being and kind of seeing where we rank it as far as trade value goes around the league. So we'll be doing that when we come back as well.
I'm a player. I'm a pro player person, so I would trade the pick if I was Washington because no player deserves to go to Washington.
I've seen a lot of people say stuff like that, actually.
They just have to keep drafting like They just get a draft pick, but then every year they have to trade the draft pick because nobody wants to go there. But they also don't get players back either.
I saw, I think it was B. Hin from Jeff Teague's podcast. They brought up how Darren Peterson may end up on the Wizards if they trade the pick with Utah and everything. And he was like, "God," like, no, they can't do that. They can't do that. Please don't let them do that. Just because he was, and at first when I saw the clip, I was like, man, it seems like he's pretty negative on Darren Peterson that they would take him second. And then he kept going. I was like, oh no, he just doesn't want Darren Peterson to be stuck in Washington.
We've been kind of pro Washington too, so it's a weird take for both of us to just immediately start shitting on Washington. But
I think they
I
have to
just
prove themselves a bit more. We have to see it for a longer period of time.
they have to take like a longer trial period with Anthony Davis before I can give him another.
Yeah.
Like if they can do something with Anthony Davis where he doesn't get hurt every year, then you can get a first round pick. But it has to be 5 years minimum.
I will say I listened to the Washington Wizards GM talk on a podcast. I forget which podcast. I think it was Ryan Russillo's. And the way he talked about the team, I was like, going into it, I was like, I'm very excited for this because I really like the direction the team's going in. I'm excited to see his perspective on it. And then I heard him talk about it, and I was like, I don't know if we see this going in a good direction for the same reason. It's kind of like right answer, wrong reasoning.
Yeah.
And his reasoning was really that there's no player in the league like Trey Young, and that Trey Young is like the future, the direction we're going in. I was like, "Mm, you're hurt, you're losing me."
Yeah, I'm kind of out now.
Yeah, I was so ready to be on the bandwagon. You're losing me.
He's seen this year's draft, right? And he still thinks Trey Young is the guy.
I mean, he's super excited by the draft pick, but the way he talked about Trey Young is you would have thought he landed Steph Curry.
Maybe he's a big
Which I
man.
understand you're Washington isn't you got to celebrate something. I understand that. And you're always going to hype up your guy and talk. I get it. I get it. But I was like, all right, let's pump the brakes like a little bit. Let's relax.
It has been since like 2010 since they had any kind of hope. So
Yeah. It was the John Wall. It was 16. No, 17 when they had the John Wall year that he was like top 5 for MVP.
yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah. But let's take a quick break and we'll talk more about it in a minute.
Yep. Word from our sponsors.
Nobody. Welcome back. Let's talk about the Wizards. It's their time in the sun.
I
They have
hope
the number
not.
one pick. They haven't been talked about in over a decade, maybe longer than that. Haven't won 50 games since the 70s. Let
That's got to be an exaggeration.
What, they haven't won since the 70s?
Yeah, they've had to have won 50 games.
They haven't, brother.
Not even with John Wall.
No, they won 49 with John Wall in 2017. I know this because when I heard this stat a couple years ago that they had won 50 games since I think 78, the year that they won the championship, I was like, that's not true. That can't be true because the John Wall happened, everything. I looked into it and it's true. They haven't won 50 games since either 78 when they won the championship or the year after when they also made the finals in 79. They haven't won 50 games.
I just want to say that in general for the Wizards, I'm rooting for all of the teams that have a first round pick to fail since the Pelicans don't have a first round pick. So I hope all of them fail.
So you're rooting for everybody but the
Yeah,
Pelicans.
basically.
It's like the Pelicans, Trailblazers, and like two others. The Suns, somebody
I
else.
hate being roped in with the Suns, man. That just hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all are in the same conversation with the Suns, who their owner got some of the biggest heat for how he kind of blew up the team immediately with the whole KD trade and kind of ruined the future of their franchise. And the Blazers, who have Tom Dundon as their owner, who refuses to spend 20 bucks on a meal for an employee. And then there's the Pelicans.
So what would you do if you're the Wizards? Do you keep the first pick? Just circle back because I don't want to focus on how great the Pelicans are. Hurt everybody else's feelings on how great we are. So we'll focus on other things that are not. as shitty as the
Real
Pelicans.
quick before you get into that, why do you look like you're glowing? You look like you're about to ascend. What's
I don't know, dude. I started fucking with those settings and now it's all off, man. And I can't get it back.
there's like a glow coming down. For anybody just straight up listening to the pod, in the video, it looked like Sean. It just increasingly was getting brighter and brighter to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to say something.
Would you rather me darker?
I don't
I have
I
a
don't know
That's a
what
portrait mine.
that looks fine.
Okay. I'm glad my color now you're approving of it.
It just kept getting brighter where I had to say something.
It really did for some reason. I was like, I don't know why this is getting brighter, but it's making me self-conscious for some
I was
reason.
starting to worry for you, man. I was like, he's about to get called.
Oh, dude, if I get abducted by aliens, I'm fired up.
Hey, if I get the recording of that,
Also fired up, dude.
I got you.
Our podcast will finally make it.
We're going to take a sharp pivot.
Right. Oh, to my favorite place. Aliens.
Wimby got him.
Aliens real giraffes.
We'll save that for another one. Anybody who knows you and listens to this will love that though.
Yeah, they'll appreciate it.
Love
Stick
that
to
we
my
got the first mention of giraffes aren't real by Sean.
We'll
Just
do a
wait
whole
till one
pod.
of these days and I'm like sick or like whenever I'm on like my honeymoon or something and it's like, hey, Sean, you want to do a pod? It's gonna go off the rails.
Just me solo diving into conspiracies.
Yeah, you're gonna
I'm a
start off
weird.
with like the frozen envelope and it's gonna lead to like half the animals don't exist and they're really just here to patrol us.
You get back from your honeymoon and the pod is like flagged. We can't upload anymore. We're somehow now categorized in the same places. Like I don't like we're like all of a sudden a Tucker Carlson type podcast. Like
Yeah. Yeah. What was it, the Alex Jones podcast that he has or
yeah,
did?
dude. We just went down like a real weird dark rabbit hole for like 2 episodes because you were gone.
Yeah, I check notifications while I'm on my honeymoon. Like, what the fuck? Oh God, we're zooming in on Sean now.
My camera's messing. That's not been a, it's not been a good camera day for me, man.
This is not. Which on that note, we are going to be improving our production value here soon with new cameras. We're looking into that. We're looking into new ways to record the session. So it's going to be getting better. Appreciate people who've been checking in, subscribing, and knowing that our product right now is the worst it's ever going to be. So we're kind of in our rookie year Carter Bryant stage where, yeah, yell at us, tell us what sucks, and we'll get better and not make the same mistake again. So
Yeah,
appreciate
dude.
that.
Shout out to everybody commenting too. That's been actually a lot of fun seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, love seeing the interaction on it. And we've been getting more on our Instagram now recently. Today we got quite a bit on there. So we're starting to spread out a little bit more. And I think combined we're at like 70 something subscribers slash followers across everything. So, you know, slowly but surely.
We're getting it.
Yeah. Back to the question like 10 minutes ago that you posed. If I'm the Wizards, it depends. If I'm also factoring in how I feel about this draft, what I would do, me being a big Darren Peterson guy, I'm trading the first pick to number two to Utah, and I'm getting something. You're giving me another pick. You're giving me Ace Bailey. We can figure out the details, but that's what's going to happen. And I'm getting Darren Peterson at two, and you can take AJ at one, and that's how I feel. But it depends on them. If they like Darren Peterson, I think they should do that. If they like AJ, take AJ. Who cares what people, if Utah is offering you the world? If you love AJ and that's the guy you think is going to be the best in the draft, take him. Period.
There's also potential because it is Washington, them going and picking like Caleb, which wouldn't it's not the wrong pick either. This is like one of the few years where you could make an argument for like the top 6 being taken first. Like you could. pivot, you could figure out a way to make each of them work. Like I could see you taking Boozer number one. I wouldn't be mad at you. I don't agree with taking him really one for what Washington has. But like if you're Washington, are you hearing every single person 1 through 6 and their pitches to you? Or are you just squarely picking like 2 and 3 in that? Like that's the most we'll trade down.
I'm listening. I would love to talk to him and just see if, you never know what you're going to get out of there. But for me, there's been a lot of reports of Washington trading as low as four. I don't like a trade out of the top two. I know this is seen as a top four draft. I personally think so highly of AJ and Darren. I know I'm a big Darren guy, but also am a really big AJ guy. And going into this year, I was like, AJ's going to be number one. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I don't care about learning
Yeah.
by anybody else in comparison to AJ. He's going to be number one. He's that special of a talent. And then I fell in love with Darren Peterson's game. But I think there is a little bit of a drop off after one and two. And I still think Cameron Boozer and Caleb Wilson are extremely high. To your point of you saying there's like six guys in this draft that you could argue going one, typically when that's the case, it's a terrible draft. Typically when that's the case, it's like Anthony Bennett drafts. Like anybody could go number one. The Zachary Shea year, like there's several guys who could go number one. This year, it's like you can't go wrong. Like I don't see how you could make a bad decision here.
Oh, you can make a bad decision.
It'd be tough. Like you'd have to really go out of the box.
Yeah, you'd have to do something so stupid. You're knowing you were going to get fired right after the pick,
Yeah.
like taking Mara number one or something. No shade on him. He's just not a number one pick.
I did see that Giannis's name has been tied to the Wizards. And if they were to trade the number one pick to Milwaukee, I don't think they would. I know they shouldn't. I don't think they would. But man, it scares me just because with Washington, we don't know and they're still unproven.
Yeah, they could do anything, dude. They could go trade for Devin Booker and just give the first pick up for that, just because that's something Washington would do. And there's also the other idea that they actually draft smart. And the honest thing isn't the craziest thing to me, though. I wouldn't do it because I would rather you build the team through the draft than go get Giannis in this situation, even though you do have Trey Young and Anthony Davis. I don't see Anthony Davis staying anyway. I think Anthony Davis will try to figure out a way to get out. I think Trey Young does stay, but I think if you pair him with Giannis, you're kind of giving up. Like, okay, so you're good for 2 years, 3 years, however much longer he ends up playing, overtaking an AJ who has a 15-plus year career ahead of him, or Peterson who has hopefully a 15-year career ahead of him.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, you look at the Wizards and you're like, hey, if we look at where we were a couple years ago to now, and if we'd be happy with, if we were told a couple years ago we're going to have Trey Young, Anthony Davis, and Giannis, would we be happy with that? The answer is 100% yeah. Like,
You're thrilled.
you do that every time, but at what cost? And you can't do that, in my opinion. You
Yeah,
can't even think about it.
I don't think you can trade this year's pick for anybody in the league. Maybe. I don't know because like Wemby, yeah, probably, yeah, I'm doing that. Shit, we'll get to that, but that's just like I don't know. You'd have a really hard time. Like I'd have to really like look at the names or hear the names for me to be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on that.
Why don't we do it?
All right, we can do it now.
Why don't we do it? We'll go through and let's do it where we're not necessarily the Wizards making the decision. Let's just do you have the number one pick, kind of default team. You have the number one pick, and you're trading for X player, and I'll give you a name and see how you feel. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Tyrese Maxey,
No,
VJ Edgecombe,
no, no.
Giannis.
I'm hearing the talks, but I'm probably not taking it.
Okay, so you're answering the phone.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll pick up for that. I think Giannis is a good one to pick up for.
okay.
Who's
The
MVP?
Bulls, I don't think they really have anybody they can even bring to the table. Donovan Mitchell, you're hanging
No,
up.
hell no,
Mobley hanging up.
no.
Jason Tatum.
That's another one I'm hearing the phone call, but he has the Achilles injury, and even if he does come back and he's still like as good as he was in the playoffs there for a while, even though he sat the last game, I still think you take the call, but you probably don't pull the trigger on it.
That's a tough one.
I don't think you pull the trigger on it, dude. I was
What
gonna
make
ask you next. Like, what about you? Like going through for the two people I've said, maybe two,
So far, I
Giannis and
agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I'm not even answering the phone for Giannis at this point. As much as I love him, just at this age with his injury history, good for this pick in particular. But for Jason Tatum, because he's still young, I'm
yeah,
saying no to Jaylen Brown. How do you feel about that one?
oh, I'm definitely saying no to Jalen Brown.
Okay.
I'm not that high on him for
Jason
that.
Tatum, I'm putting in the maybe category.
Jason Tatum, I'm for sure taking the phone call. I'm probably bringing him in on a visit to see what we can do and see how he looks. I don't know if I'm pulling the trigger though. You are getting a proven superstar though with him. Like same thing with Giannis. You're getting a proven superstar. You're still with AJ and Peterson. You're hoping.
One thing I'd like to say too, you and I are very high on this draft. There's going to be a lot of people who view us even considering not taking Jason Tatum as absurd. I think it
Yeah,
just shows how high we are on Devonta and Peterson.
yeah. I'm also okay with. I It'd be tough, dude, because I love Tatum. He went to Duke, but I don't know, man. Peterson. Because even if you pair Peterson, Young, and you got Anthony Davis in the East, you're probably making the conference finals.
I'm going to add Tatum to the maybe list.
That's fair.
All right. Kawhi,
No,
not at this point.
I don't even know if I even care to take a phone call for that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, too much injuries, not playing back to backs. Nah, I'm good.
Grizzlies don't really have anybody. No, you're not answering the phone for Coward. Hawks, Jalen Johnson, you're not. Heat, Bam, Mr. 83. Can I interest you in a Bam Adebayo?
No, if I'm
Can
not
I
taking
interest you in a
Giannis,
Tyler Hero by chance?
if, well, if I'm not taking Giannis, dude, I'm definitely not taking Bam. And if I'm not taking John Moran, I'm probably not taking Tyler Hero either.
I tried, Heat fans. I tried. Uh, Brandon Miller,
I do love Brandon Miller, but no,
Con Knipple.
no, I love Khan. If I had Khan on my team, we're building around him.
So you do trade the pick for Con or no?
No, no, I'm not trading the pick for Khan.
Okay.
Sorry.
I agree, but I think there's a lot of people who would disagree.
Trade the pick for Khan?
I think we're higher on this draft than the average.
Khan's ceiling to me isn't nearly as high as AJ's and Peterson's, and I love Khan. Like if I was the Hornets, I'm not entertaining any phone calls for that.
I agree. We're in unison right now. The Jazz don't really have him, but like Keontae George, I don't think makes you pick up the phone. The Kings, yeah, good luck, buddy.
I'll
I already
trade picks for
blocked that number a long time ago.
yeah. What would Sam Presti do? That's the question.
Jalen Brunson.
No, hell no.
Hell no. You're doing that the night that he takes the Knicks to the finals. You're saying hell no to Jalen Brunson for the number one
Why
pick.
do you want me to be a Knicks hater so bad? Like you don't have to push that narrative. Like I'm not a Knicks hater. I just don't take. I'm not for the first pick. I like Brunson. I just wait. I'd rather have Peterson.
With Brunson, is this a situation of you simulate his career 100 times? This is in the top like five potential simulations we got out of his career.
Yeah, I think it's Allen Iverson. Like I don't know if he ever reaches this again. And I could like with anything, I could be dead wrong. But I don't think he ever gets I don't know if he ever gets back to the finals anyway. First of all, it's so hard to get back to the finals. And then the East is getting slightly better. Not much better, but if you throw Peterson in the mix and then you throw AJ out there in the East too, if somehow both of them ended up in the East or one or the other, like that's the East is going to get better this year. It has no choice but to get better.
Yeah.
And Boston's going to be healthy next year, more than likely.
What will they look like? Will they have Jaylen Brown? Like there's a lot of question marks there too.
That's true. I don't think Jalen Brown leaves though, unless forced. And
Yeah.
if my thing is if Boston does lose Jalen Brown, they're only going to get better. Like they're going to figure out a way where if they lose him, they maximize that. Like they're not New Orleans.
I think I say no to Brunson too, but it feels kind of sacrilegious to say that.
It feels fucked up right now to say it just because he did lead his team to the finals, so it does that's why it feels. I think like in the off season, you probably wouldn't even think twice about it.
Okay. Luca.
I'm probably doing it, dude. I'm probably doing it. Like I'm probably gonna pull the trigger on Luca just because he is a for sure generational talent. Like he's that guy. Like there's some cases where Luca's the face of the league if everything goes his way. Like if the Lakers end up being really good because of him, like even better than the 3 seed that they were this year. Like if they keep pushing it and they actually build around Luca right and get him a team, Luca's a generational talent. Saw the dude go for 72 or 75 or whatever it was. Like the dude is an all led the Mavs to the finals. Like
On
take
the
Luca
flip
off that team and they probably don't win 50 games.
on the flip side of what I said about Brunson, if we do a simulation of his career 100 times, is this in the top five? Is this, if we do a simulation of Luca's career 100 times, is this in the bottom five of kind of how it's turned out so far?
Yeah, this isn't a normal year for Luca. Luca's the guy you're gonna see in the Western Conference Finals every year. Like you're gonna see him. Like he's gonna be that guy. They're at least making it to the well, I guess the semis, but still they're at least pushing that.
So if Wizards today call up the Lakers, I'll trade you the number one pick for Luka Doncic straight up, or we'll match contracts to make it work without losing anybody integral. Who says no?
Probably probably the Lakers, dude. I don't know if you're giving up Luca for like, and I think Peterson's great, and I think AJ is going to be great, but I don't know if you risk. Luca's still young.
I agree.
People are going to roast us for taking Luca and not taking Jason Tatum though. Like,
That's fine. That's
we're
fine.
going to shit on for that, but I really do. I think that's the guy you take,
Yeah.
and I
And
know
he's still what, like he's 26?
I agree. Yeah, for sure. You've been right every time. So yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not sure. I think he's got to be around that age though.
26, about to be 27 if I were to bet.
Yeah, and the argument I guess you could say is Tatum has led his team to a championship, but was he the best player on that team?
Is it leading your team to championship when you're not the Eastern Conference Finals MVP or Finals MVP?
Yeah. If Luca had to be the Western Conference Finals MVP, wasn't he
Yep,
that year? So if he was the MVP that year, he was going to be probably be the Finals MVP if they ended up winning.
for sure.
So like it's that's different levels to it. And he doesn't have the same injury history. He doesn't have an Achilles. He doesn't have any of that.
Yeah. And Tatum beat Luca in the finals. So like,
Yeah, it looks so ass backwards now, dude. Like it doesn't feel right even like saying that because I think Tatum is a special talent. Like he's crazy good. I will forever remember him dunking on LeBron. I will sadly forever remember him copying every single other finals winner. And that's actually sadly what I remember him for most for now.
yeah.
But Luca's special, dude. When it seems like too, like you don't really feel it in LA, probably because LA is such a big city compared to like Dallas. Like it's such a big city feel. Like Dallas, like he like embodied what Dallas was. So he's like a guy you can. He's gonna be the face of your franchise. He's gonna buy into what you're doing in the city. He's gonna be that guy. So you're getting the full package when you get Luca.
Yeah. So we're yes on Luca. We're still maybe on Tatum.
Yeah, still maybe I'll take him.
Okay.
I'm taking the phone call. Might just have to swing the deal.
Paolo is a no.
Yeah, no.
That sucks because we were very high on Paolo when it was his turn to go number one.
Yeah, I love Paolo. I
We would
still
have
want to.
said no to a lot of crazy people if we did this exercise for Paolo's draft.
Yeah, dude, I would have. Yeah, it'd have been worse. People would have definitely not.
Yeah.
It would have been seen worse than like some other individuals. I'm not going to say their names.
Whenever we do our like joint redraft of where we put in like all the last five draft classes together and how would we draft them based off how we viewed them as prospects, we're going to look very dumb with how high we have Paolo. Because you and I were leading the charge of Paolo fandom.
I thought Paolo was going to be the next LeBron James. Like that's what I had envisioned. I was like, this dude's going to go to multiple finals. He's
Yeah.
going to be a multiple time MVP. By the time his rookie contract's going to be done, no one's even going to remember anybody else in the league. Basically, I really thought he was going to be crazy good,
Yeah.
which could be a good reason not to trust us on Peterson, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't expect him to go more of like the Carmelo route. I expected, or like in style of play, I mean, I expected him to be more LeBron go at you. I didn't expect him to fall in love with the mid-range elbow shot as much as he has.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, we'll just do this one, Cooper. If you could either have the number one draft pick this year to take AJ DeBonsa or Darren Peterson, or trade that pick for Cooper, what do you do?
Don't do this to me. I want to take Cooper. It would be hard viewing them like if he was in this draft class, but him outside of this draft class and seeing how he has kind of put himself into the NBA and into those conversations of being one of those guys who could be a superstar. Like I'm sure there's people who already consider him a superstar, but I'm not there yet. Like when I need to see a couple more years of some sustained longevity, but I would probably take Cooper. It,
I,
I but it would be purely based on the fact that I know that I'm getting this last year out of Cooper every year, kind of thing.
yeah, we've already seen the worst version of him in theory,
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
I have no complaints.
I agree with you entirely. If he didn't reclassify and he was a part of this draft class, I would have had AJ and Peterson above him on my big board. But once you see it at the level you've seen it, it's like I'd rather hedge my bets and give me that right now.
Yeah, give me that right now. Like I know I'm getting that. I'm fine with it. I got one for you. Would you take Anthony Edwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah, I don't even think too much about it.
And Scott, what I think Peterson could be, and possibly better. Like, I think Peterson could be Ant, but better. So like, if I already have Ant though, like I'm okay. Like I know what I'm gonna get out of Ant every day, and I know I'm gonna get a guy who wants to compete. And if you want to have a knock on Peterson, there's that. Unless
Yeah.
you believe
So
our
we're
believe the
at
story.
three right now with Luca, Cooper, Ant, Jokic.
Yeah, it sounds fucked up to say no. It sounds real fucked up to say no. So like, I feel like if I was a GM, I'd get fired for that because I probably would not take him and then have everybody say I'm an idiot. No, I think you gotta take Joker.
That one's tough, man.
I'm thinking about his age too, because he's in his like mid 30s, isn't he?
Early.
Early 30s.
I think he's only like 30 or 31.
I, I don't. I'm definitely taking the phone call. Definitely taking the phone call. I don't know if I'm taking him though. He's 31.
I think I say yes
I'm not mad about it.
because it's like it's similar to the a couple of other guys. Like I've seen it. I still believe you have some in the tank. If I have Jokic on my team, no matter who I put around him, we're at least like gonna make ourselves believe we're gonna compete for a few years. Even though I feel like Peterson and DeBonce are a slam dunk, there's still a risk factor there. I think I say yes, but you're kind of a maybe leaning no.
I'm mainly leaning no, but it mainly has to do with his age. And I saw him get hurt a little bit this year,
Yeah.
and that kind of worries me, especially if I can pick AJ.
Yeah. That one's probably the toughest one so far because either way you answer it, you're gonna for like potentially regret your decision immediately.
Yeah, when I immediately like if I would have immediately said no, I would have felt like I was fucking up. Like no matter what, you kind of felt like you were fucking it up.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good about it either way.
Whereas with like the Cooper one, either way you feel like you're making a good decision.
Yeah, the risk reward is still there for both of them. Like you're not really, but the risk is way lower on Cooper Flag than it is anybody else right now.
All right. Halliburton, you say no. The Pelicans call and it's like, how'd they get my number?
I don't. Yeah, I say no to Halliburton. I thought about it for a second. I really like
You thought
Halliburton.
about it. Okay.
I like Halliburton though.
I do too.
That's more of like a personal one. Like I would like to have him on my team. I don't think I'd make the trade because I think the fans would, light my house on fire. But I do like Halliburton.
Now, I do think if the Wizards today called Halliburton or called the Pacers and said number one pick for Halliburton, yes or no, they say no
Yeah, I think
because
they say
what
no.
he means to them. But if you take that part out of it and just put him in a vacuum, you don't take him if you're the other team.
Yeah,
Cade,
I'm definitely not taking it. I'd rather have the number one pick than Cade.
wow, no question, huh?
Yeah, it's not even a question for me. I like Cade too, but I don't have that like attachment level to him that you do. I think, and I also don't really like. I'd rather have Peterson than Cade.
But Cade's so proven.
I know. I don't. I know my seems kind of backwards. I just think that, and it could be a little bit of recency bias in the fact that in that last game he did not show up. So like, okay, I can go take a risk on a younger guy who can do some of the similar things to you and probably maybe at a higher level eventually.
But Cade's what, like 24, 25? Like,
Paulo's like what, 24, 25.
don't talk to me about Paolo right now.
I'm just saying, man.
He's hurt me too many times.
K didn't hurt you too many times.
Paolo just blew a 3-1 lead to Cade.
That's a good point. Kind of forgot about that. But it's not
So
Paulo's fault. He plays for the Magic. That was going to happen regardless. It's not his fault. You put him on a different team, he probably doesn't blow that lead.
I'll say this. if this deal was on the table, Wizards, Pistons, the Pistons say no quicker than the Wizards can even finish the sentence.
Oh yeah, if I'm the Pistons, I'm not taking it. But if I'm a GM and I just have that choice in front of me, give me Peterson. Yeah, he's 24 years old.
I'm good at that game. Let's play that game.
Yeah, you are weirdly good at that, dude. Bro, his last game, they got beat 125 to 94.
Yeah, I'm
He scored 13 points and shot 5 for 16. 0 for 7 from 3. Has a James Harden feel to it, doesn't it?
I mean, he was also like the only guy.
Yeah, I know, dude. He had no help. Zero. I'm not shitting on Kate at all. Well,
I,
I am, but just for the purpose of the fact that I said I wouldn't do this trade, so I have to protect my decision.
I take it back. That's the toughest one for me because I want to say no, but at the same time, that's where I would, if I said no and I hung up the phone, that's the most where I would be like, I just ruined my career. I just ruined my career. I would have immediate regret and seller's remorse on that one. Like there would be no, I'm
If you
not
were on either
sleeping.
if you were on either end of the phone call, would you feel that way? Like if you had to answer no to that, if you're the Wizards, are you saying no?
If I'm the Pistons, I feel good about it. Even if like Peterson or DeBonsa ends up becoming as great as we all believe, I feel good having Kate. Like I'm happy with that. But if I'm the other side, I'm not gonna be able to sleep until I see one of these guys in the jersey and they look awesome.
I mean, you've said watching Peterson is like having a religious experience.
I
Do you
know.
feel that way when you watch Cade? Because I don't.
No, I wasn't even that high on Cade going into the draft. I thought he was gonna be good, but I didn't think he would be as great as he became.
When I watch Cade, I have the feeling that at some point it's going to come to a screeching halt. Like on his offensively, like I just feel like at some point he's just not going to be able to do it. And I don't feel that way with Peterson or AJ.
See, I feel differently. I think his game is consistently improving. I didn't realize there was a separation between us and Cade. I thought we were kind of consistently like, hey, Cade is awesome.
I love Cade,
I didn't
but
realize you were a Cade hater like this.
I'm not a Cade hater. Stop painting me as a hater for everybody. God dog. I only really hate Rudy Gobert. Everybody else is fine.
Fair, fair.
I just don't think like it could be the Pistons offense too, where that's where I'm down on Cade. Like I just don't see it enough out of him.
Slight technical difficulties. I'm sorry that they cut off your hate on Cade there, Sean. I'll let you jump right back into it.
I want to preface this again. I do not hate Cade. I do not want any beef with anybody in Detroit. Like if anybody in Detroit even listens to us or cares, like please, I'm not hating on y'all. The Bulls did beat Chelsea's ass in the Eastern Conference Finals for a couple times, but that's not here nor there.
You say I do this to you. You do it to yourself.
Yeah, that one I did kind of bring on myself, but that's not the
You
point.
had it. I was gonna let it go. I was gonna move on, and then you just had to throw that in there.
It felt right.
Let's see how long it feels right there, buddy.
Don't clip this part up, man. Just leave it out. It's not necessary. No one ever has to hear this.
Hey, I love Cade for the record. Think he's awesome.
Bro, you are pandering to like the scariest franchises.
I'm a survivor, bro.
You're like, I am not gonna shit on New York, Detroit.
Yeah, you like we were just talking about before he came back. You got beef with Detroit, New York, Atlanta, and I have it with OKC and New Orleans. I'm all right.
Dude, New Orleans, we're too depressed to even say anything if we even know we have a team.
I don't even have beef with Boston yet. That hasn't become a thing yet, and I've said some crazy stuff about Boston.
See, Boston's ones you have to worry about. See, when people find out how much of a hater of Steve Nash you are, you're gonna have a bunch of people in Canada that are not happy, and they don't have teeth there, so they're like gum you to death.
I've seen Canadians handle themselves in beef. I'm not too concerned.
Are we now throwing shade at Drake fans? You gotta chill.
Yeah,
podcast pops up with a bunch of Drake fans, I'm gonna be mad as hell.
That's okay with me. All right, so Cade, you're a strong hell no.
Yeah, I'm a strong no, dude. Not a hell no. More like a please don't come for me, Detroit fans, but a no.
And I'm a leaning yes on it. I'm a leaning yes. I'm not ready. Like, we need to reconvene tomorrow. Let me sleep on it. That's kind of where I'm at. And then I have a conversation with my fiance. It's like, would I be like committing career suicide if I say no to this? And that would kind of be where I'm at on it. Um, Scotty Barnes, you don't even.
No.
Okay. Amin Thompson, do you consider?
No. No.
No?
I'm not super high on him. You seem to be though. You seemed like questioning whether or not that was a good idea or not.
I like Amin Thompson.
Enough to give up the number one draft pick this year?
No, but I like him.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I like Cade Cunningham too, but
Obviously not. Not some of the stuff you were saying off camera.
hey, bro.
I retract that one. He didn't say anything crazy off camera. I just thought that'd be funny if people thought he did.
He hates
Um,
this.
so Wimby, why are you even calling me?
Yeah, don't bother with that.
Dylan Harper.
Ooh, that's tough.
Do you take the number one pick in this draft or Dylan Harper?
I really like Dylan Harper, dude. Like a lot. And I would kind of like to see him on a franchise that didn't have all that it has. I feel like it's almost like a Cooper Flag pick too. Like if we're in the same draft, no. But if they're outside of it, and I'm seeing what he's doing this year in the playoffs against the best defensive team in the NBA, I I definitely answer. I don't know if I give it up though.
Yeah, if they were in the same draft class, I'm not even considering taking Harper over either one of these guys. Just I wasn't as high on Harper in the draft, which in retrospect, I think I was just blinded by how much I loved VJ, and I think
I was high on him.
yeah, I wasn't
I,
looking past VJ,
yeah,
but
but I was high on Harper. I've liked Harper the whole time.
in this, I'm still saying no. I'm
Are
pretty
you taking the
firmly
phone
no
call?
on this one, although I really like Harper too.
You wouldn't take the phone call?
I mean, I'm gonna hear you out, hear what you got to say.
It's crazy that I'm gonna hear them out, but a hell no for Cade Cunningham. Yeah,
It's a rough one.
I like Dylan Harper, man, and I still think he has a really high ceiling. I think this might be like the best we ever see Cade after this. Like, I don't know how much better he can be.
You're really
All right, you don't gotta make the faces too.
doubling down over there. I've given you so many opportunities to move on.
I can't now, dude. I'm sucked into it.
Uh, so Harper, you're a maybe, and I'm a no.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Um, Castle.
No, but I do love Castle.
Okay, agreed. I'd be like, oh, thank you for the phone call. I really appreciate it. It'd be awesome to think about having Castle, but please don't call me with that again.
Yeah, 100%.
Detroit, they got you.
Mm,
Somebody got word already. Let's see who we got. Devin, we're not Booker. We're not. Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I've seen enough.
Okay. Chet, we're not. Okay. Not entertaining it. J Dub, I think we're kind of past that because of injuries right now.
Yeah,
SGA,
I'm taking SGA.
agreed. Okay. No question, SGA.
Yeah, give me that, dude.
Gotcha.
You gotta go back and watch his Clipper highlights, dude. I was watching those today for a minute.
Hmm.
He was a different player. Different player. Not so much falling. He actually like was upright for a good portion of the game.
Yeah. He was a bit more herky jerky too back then because there was still a little bit like he hadn't quite smoothed his game out yet. There's a little bit of that like just raw. I can't think of a good comp for how he moved, but it was very herky jerky. He was tough to guard it for a different reason because it almost seemed like he was kind of pun intended, like falling into the move versus in control and getting exactly 180. Now, if you watch him play, you can see a lot of like Harden comparisons and how he dribbles low to the ground and his movements. Whereas back then it was more of a high dribble in how he
Yeah.
had you.
His shooting form's not the same either. Like he's tweaked his form a lot, a
His form
lot.
was weird back then.
Yeah, it was
Very
like a
stiff.
very. I was gonna say it's very stiff, very not mobile at all. Like as soon as he was going up for the shot, that was the shot he was taking. Like
Yeah.
there was no, he had no wiggle to it at
A lot
all.
of shoulder.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, okay. So Ant, we already agreed on. Um, Trailblazers don't really have anybody you call about. Wizards don't. I think the last one I have here, Steph Curry.
No, too old. If I,
So
yeah, I got to stay on principle on that one. He's too old. I'm not making that trade. I understand how great he is, but how many years do you have left of him doing that?
let me ask you this. I'm gonna flip this one. You're the Warriors. You're the Golden State Warriors. The Washington Wizards call you. I will trade you the number one pick in this draft where you will be able to draft either AJ DeBonsa or Darren Peterson. You give me Steph Curry. What do you do?
And if you're the Warriors, no, it means way too much to that franchise.
So you
It's the
don't
only.
entertain it? You don't think about it a little bit?
I mean, I think you have to think about it because it's a business. You have to consider it. Because if you go from one generational talent to another generational talent with no gap, kind of like the Packers seem to manage to do with quarterbacks, where they just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and they don't. There's no drop off. Like that would be great to do in basketball, but like oh, shit, the Spurs they've gone from David Robinson and Tim Duncan to Wemby in no time. Like it usually doesn't happen like that. I don't think you can pull the trigger though if you're the Warriors. I think you should, but I don't think that they could.
So you would commit to like 2 to 3 more years of mediocrity with Steph,
I think you
and
have to.
then probably years of rough and tough basketball in Golden State over getting the guy that can immediately reboot your franchise.
I think you have to. Could you imagine being the guy who trades away Steph Curry though? Like that, no matter what you do in life, you could cure cancer. The only thing people are going to remember you for is the guy who traded away Steph Curry. Like that's going to be on your tombstone. That's everything. You traded away Steph Curry. I don't think as a franchise you could live with that. Could you imagine trading Michael Jordan in his prime? Like LeBron's different. He just leaves. He's like a vagrant almost. He just goes from place to place to place. Like he doesn't have any like there's no like real loyalty for him. Steph is Golden State. You take Steph out of Golden State and Golden State is what? The We Believe Warriors? Like that's all they have. No, no offense to like Chris Mullins and some other great Warriors that played in the past, but
What would Danny Ainge do?
oh he would take the pick. Danny Ainge has like no care. I feel like he would but then also you think about it, he was on the Celtics and they let some of those guys play way past their prime.
He did
So like
trade, and he traded Pierce and KG to Brooklyn, and he ended up getting the draft picks that led to Tatum and Brown out of that trade.
that's true. That's a good point. He's probably
What
taking
would
it, dude.
what would Sam Presti do?
Sam Presti's taking the draft picks. Man loves draft picks. He's Pokemon.
I think
He
he got
collect.
to.
Yeah, but I don't think you can as the Warriors franchise. Could
How
you?
would the
But
fans be receptive at all?
could you imagine this? You trade Steph Curry for Peterson or AJ, and something happens where they don't become that next guy. Like whether it be injury or something else, and they don't become that next guy, and you're the guy who traded away Steph Curry. Because I guarantee you, there's fans who would probably take 3 to 4 more years of him jacking up threes from all over the floor than like 4 more years, 4 bad years of somebody else.
I hear you, man. I get it. And it's the same thing like when the Lakers gave Kobe that crazy contract after his injury, and it was like, we know this is going to go horrible. It's a terrible idea, but it's the loyalty factor, and the players are going to remember this, and the league is going to remember this, and it's going to be very important for our fans. I get it.
Yeah, that's why they end up with people like Luke on their team now because they put in good stock to the basketball gods.
Will the Warriors get that same favor from guys being like, yeah, let me go over there? I don't think it's the same pool.
You don't think that
Before
Steph
Steph
Curry?
got there, the Warriors were treated like a small market team that nobody wanted to be at.
Yeah, but you don't think that's flipped now? You don't think that like people do kind of want to go play in Golden State now? Like you're not mad if you get drafted by the Warriors.
Right. Right.
Steph made playing for the Warriors cool, unlike LeBron could never do for any of his teams.
What are you doing? I even asked LeBron.
Just say it, bro.
I
I understand what you're saying too. I agree. Like on paper, you absolutely have to do it. But like if I'm actually the Warriors franchise, I don't know if you could do that.
it's one of those where either way, if you're if you're Bob Myers and you get off the phone, whether you said yes or no, you're sitting in a dark room by yourself for like a day and a half.
Minimum. You're
Yeah.
depressed. Like
Regardless of which answer you gave, you're sitting there like, God, I can't believe I just did that. I cannot believe I just did that.
like I can't even imagine like you would go around all of San Francisco being the guy who traded away the only thing that they had. Like that's it. Like I just don't think you can do that, man.
Or you're the guy who punted away an opportunity to have your next guy for the future.
At what cost though?
A pretty reasonable price tag.
I don't know, dude. What if it turned out too that somehow Steph Curry did have like a lot more in the tank that we didn't know about, and he went to Washington somehow and led them to like 2 finals or some crazy shit? Like, how would you feel then if you were a Golden State fan?
And I think the Wizards could talk their way into it. Of like, hey, if we bring in Steph with Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr, these young guys, and maybe move Trey somehow for something else, then like we're competing. In the East, we're competing.
Yeah, we're not getting anywhere in the West anyway.
It's
If I
interesting.
was if I was LeBron and Steph, I'd be trying to figure out a way to go East. Get on a team with a bunch of young dudes, and then you don't got to do as much, and you can live out your career still averaging like 17 to 20 a game
Yeah.
easily.
Let me ask you this. The number one pick or LeBron 2019. So like when he went to the Lakers, he was still seen as pretty widely the best player in the world.
I think you have to take that. Like I think you have to. LeBron already makes your team. LeBron already makes your team better. I said it. So there you go. Like he could probably drag the Wizards to the finals. Like especially that LeBron. He's not that like that wasn't the worst we've seen of LeBron. He
Won
makes
a
your team a lot.
championship a year later.
I mean, he won a bubble. He won a Mickey Mouse ring. You know we don't count that
He was
bullshit.
best player. He was second in MVP that year too, which people forget. He lost to
Still,
behind Giannis, who was at like the peak of his powers.
he still doesn't deserve a Lakers statue.
That's an interesting conversation.
Shouldn't even be a conversation.
Retired jersey?
No, he
What?
won one ring.
Yeah.
One ring. That's all you brought to LA.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Broke the scoring record there.
He was gonna break it anywhere. It didn't matter.
Yeah, but he gave it to y'all.
No,
You retire his jersey. Statue, I'm okay if you don't give him a statue, but you retire his jersey.
no.
Yeah, you do.
Bro, you're a Miami fan. Y'all retired Jordan's jersey. I don't even want to hear it from you. You retire anybody's jersey. Come to New Orleans. We don't even have a real guy.
Maybe y'all should retire Jordans.
We got two guys that didn't even really play for us.
Man, throwback to our first clip we posted.
You really retired Jordan's jersey, or not Jordan's jersey, LeBron's jersey in LA for real?
Yeah, for sure.
He didn't do anything for them.
Won a championship.
One championship, bro. It's LA.
So,
You shouldn't get your jersey retired unless you brought multiple rings to that place.
won a championship,
One.
multiple Western Conference Finals appearances.
Are you gonna start bragging about like the mid-season tournament banner they hung?
He did that too. I think, yeah, you have to, and the fact that you had a guy in the conversation for greatest player of all time on your team, and he was great for your team. You have to retire.
Participation trophies. That's all you're talking about right now. That's all I hear you saying. Like you were just happy he was there.
You got a championship, and he was
One.
Finals MVP.
One
Yeah,
in a bullshit year.
I don't see how you don't retire it.
Dude, I don't see how you retire it.
Are you just saying it because it's LA? Just strictly because it's the Lakers and they already have so many retired jerseys and they have the history and all that. That's why you don't.
Yeah, you wouldn't retire it in LA and you wouldn't retire it in Boston.
Everywhere else you do.
Not Chicago.
Yes, you do.
One ring's not enough, man. We're used to six, baby.
Bro, they ain't used to shit.
No, we're used to six. That's what our problem is. We can't find that guy yet.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised you believe that, but I feel like you actually truly do believe that.
I don't retire his jersey in LA. How many rings did Shaq win?
In LA, three,
How many did Kobe win?
five,
How many did Wilt win? Not Wilt.
one.
No, he didn't.
Jerry West. Jerry West won one ring for LA. Elgin Baylor, zero. He got a technicality one.
Okay, LeBron got a technicality one.
Elgin wasn't even on the court when they won it. He had retired earlier that season, and then he got a ring because he was on the team like 17 games into the season, then retired. Which sucks. Can we comment? Can I comment on that real quick? He went his whole career being stuck behind the Celtics, getting beaten. They lost in the finals. I don't even know how many times in his career, like seven, eight times during his career. He retires, and the year he retires, immediately they go on like a 33 game win streak and then win the championship. It's like, bro, what do we
That would suck.
do?
That would be awful.
Yeah. But yeah, Wilt has his retired, and he has way less of a Laker pedigree than LeBron.
I don't know, man.
You kind of made my case for me, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said Wilt. Should have gone Magic and Kareem.
He had so much ammo left to go before he got to Wilt.
Yeah, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
And
So,
Paul
so
Gasol has his jersey retired, so I guess the Lakers have just gone to retiring everybody's jersey now.
yeah, I think they have like Gail Goodrich, Michael Cooper, I think has his jersey retired.
They both do, yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry West, Jamal Wilkes, George Mikan.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of these. And LeBron James is right there too. It's just it will always feel weird thinking of LeBron as a Laker. That's never clicked in my brain.
I think that might be my like issue with it too, is that like it hasn't really clicked in my brain that he is a Laker. And so like him being retired as a Laker would just be weird. I think he absolutely retires in Cleveland because who else do they have? Obviously they have a way better history than the Pelicans, so don't come at me, Cleveland fans. But Miami, of course they're gonna retire his jersey. They retire guys that don't even ever fucking play for them. And in the same conference, so you know they're retiring his jersey.
It is weird because we've already retired six because of Bill Russell. We're retired again, the double
Yeah.
retirement.
Yeah. No one's ever gonna remember that it was worn by Bill Russell there. I don't really know how much you really affiliate six with LeBron.
It was weird when it happened because the only reason he wore six is because we had 23 retired.
It's so funny, dude.
Isn't that crazy? Like, think about this for a second. The story that was going around, it's been a story for a while, but it's kind of recirculating this past week of how Chris Paul didn't go to Miami because D Wade wouldn't give up number three. And
Yeah.
LeBron went to Miami when we had 23 retired for a guy who didn't play with us. It's like,
Could you imagine if LeBron just said like, "Fuck it, I'm not going." Like, if I can't have 23, I'm not going to Miami.
yeah, would we unretire it?
No, y'all can't. Black Jesus wouldn't let y'all.
I mean, you have to. If you have a
No,
chance to be
you're
LeBron James in the 2010 offseason, and he's like, only if you unretire Michael Jordan's number when he didn't play with you, you have to be like, pull that jersey down."
no. You'd have to ask Michael Jordan's permission first, and I don't see the Miami Heat doing that. So he would have ended up going to New York or Chicago.
Depends
That'd have
on
been
how
real.
big of a bet he won to get that up there.
It's got to be something substantial, dude. It's so weird.
It is. It's one of the weirdest things in the league because there's not another example of that.
No, there's nothing. Like no one has ever done that.
It's the most embarrassing thing of being a Heat fan. Really, like the only super embarrassing thing is that, and it's a weird one. Like I can't, as a Heat fan, I can't defend that because it's like what the like they had to gamble on the 97 playoff series when they played each other. Like there had to be a bet involved.
When LeBron and everybody did the Harlem Shake, I think was slightly more embarrassing.
That became
Everything else
iconic.
was embarrassing. If it was anybody else, it would have been cool, but it was LeBron, so it was weak.
A second place would be Chris Bosh's champagne celebration after
Oh,
the championship.
yeah, that
That's
was
number
bad.
two.
Yeah, that was rough. That
And I
wasn't
love
great.
Bosh, but
Same.
I didn't really like that too much.
I think the only reason I wasn't upset that Miami won the finals was because Bosch was on that team.
Love Bosh.
I did too. I'm a big fan of Chris Bosch.
I think he just recently launched his podcast.
Are
So
we, are we trying to get on the Chris Bosch podcast?
might be a hell of a guest.
Dude, that'd be sick. Get Chris Bosch here.
Bucket list.
Yeah. Would you be more excited about Chris Bosch or Steve Nash?
Honestly, I mean, for me and the child inside me is Chris Bosh. Like I think you would see me more excited and happy than you've ever seen me in your life. I would be grinning ear to ear if it's like, oh, we're about to interview Chris Bosh. This is gonna be awesome. But on the flip side, I know how happy I would see you and everybody in my life if we got Nash.
Yeah. I was trying to think that if I've ever seen you really happy though, the other part of that.
Yeah.
Like because I haven't seen you around your fiance either, so like I can't really say that you're happy with her. I just know that like from our time working together and stuff, I can't ever say that you were like the happiest person.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the happiest moment of my life.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but if we had Bosch on here, you would see me
Generally happy.
genuinely.
Shout out Chris Bosh. Let's get it going, man.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Do up and coming podcast. One people actually listen to, and another one that we're
We
trying to
can
get there.
join powers.
Yeah.
Can we borrow your editor?
Do I actually borrow all of your equipment? Because
Yeah, like for a week. Um, I think that's all we got for this pod. Everything else we can we can circle back on next week. But yeah, that was fun. So to in conclusion, what we have here is the yeses. We have five. We have five definite that we agree on. We would trade the number one pick for. That's Luca, Cooper, Ant, Wimby, and SGA. Everybody else is a maybe. The maybes include Jason Tatum, Giannis, Jokic, Cade for me, and Dylan Harper for you.
Sounds so. Yeah, that sounds dumb. I'm getting fired as a GM.
Yeah, yeah.
I said hell no to Cade, and then I thought there and sat there and thought, Dylan Arbor for sure.
He's gonna be great.
Hey, this in like 10 years, this is going to come back around, and Dylan Harper is going to be seen as better than Cade Cunningham.
Soundbite that one, Detroit.
Please don't. Not even confident in that. No offense to Dylan Harper either.
But it's pretty interesting. It shows how high we are on the draft if we only have five guys that we would say yes to giving up the rights to draft Devontae Peterson.
Raptors going to be good, man.
Is that the five best players in the world? Luca, Cooper, Ant, Wemby, SGA, or is that just the five best like projected over the next like 5 years we view?
I mean, I think those are the guys in the next 5 years that are going to be the best in that conversation. And those guys who are maybes are all guys who are kind of on their way out, with the exception of like
Cade and
Cade.
Harper.
Yeah,
Tatum, is Tatum on his way out?
I forgot Jason Tatum. I wouldn't say he's on his way out, but he's definitely. I don't know if we're going to see a better Jason Tatum than what we've seen. Like, I think he's kind of reached the like, this is, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, you're getting 26, 27 points a game out of him easily.
Yeah. Are you surprised at all that I was like kind of leaning yes for Tatum?
I was shocked by that. Yeah, I thought your Celtics hate would take over.
I try to remain unbiased.
I don't, obviously, with the Dylan Harper decision.
Did it surprise you at all that I didn't think about VJ?
Yeah, because you are weirdly high on VJ. You
But I'm
don't
higher
think
than Peterson.
you're that much higher on Peterson?
Yeah.
I was gonna say because you're crazy high on VJ.
That just
You would
shows
think
how much I love DP. And
clip
on that
that.
note,
That's a wrap, yo.
thank you for watching this episode of On a String.
I love your face when you said it. You're like, nah,
It hit me about a second and a half after I said it.
it was quick, dude. You're like, damn.
Hey, make sure to subscribe, like, comment. We're gonna have a bunch of clips coming out. Like I said, our production value is going up. We got a lot to talk about. We're very excited to talk about the finals when we get there, and really this offseason we got a ton of stuff planned. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Shout out the Knicks, Knicks in six, or better yet, Knicks in four. Um, and to all Detroit listeners,
Yo,
not it,
stop.
not it. Wasn't me.
Stop.
I love the Pistons. Cade rules.
Chicago's still better than Detroit, but that's not the point.
You had an opportunity. You had an opportunity.
I can't, man. I was born in Chicago. I can't turn my back on Chicago and say nice things about Detroit.
All right. Well,
I got I
you
got
know who to
Chicago on my side.
target
Yo, please don't.
in the comment section.
I have kids.
All right. right, we appreciate you listening. Congratulations to the Knicks for making the finals. Congratulations to Brunson for Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Definitely continue to check us out. TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you find your entertainment, we are there. Follow us on Instagram, X/Twitter. Sean, you got anything before we head out?
No, I'm good. Please don't put a target on my back for New York, Detroit, and Atlanta. I love all three of those cities. They're lovely places. Detroit's airport is fire, dude.
Yeah.
Best airport.
But Kate, not it.
I like Peterson, man.
I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll be back next week.
That's right.
See ya.
See ya.